I think a big thing for me in the gym, especially when I started, and for my clients, when they're just starting out their journey, or maybe they're getting trained by me and I'm a new person that's training them, is their tempo with their lifts. Um, and breathing's obviously a big part of that as well, and controlling all that type of stuff to lift those heavier weights. But I think it's such a niche skill to figure out, and I feel like there's almost no way to really teach how to time things properly in terms of controlling tempo, but making sure your breathing lines up with your tempo and you're engaging the right muscles and all that type of stuff. Do you have any, is there anything that you've sort of learnt, you've got this surefire way of teaching people how to do that
Yeah.
type of stuff?
It's tough, man. And it's something that we take for granted because, I've been lifting now for 12 years, consistently 12 years.
Yeah.
And it's something that, recently, now that I'm drumming, I'm still no good. But it sort of hit me when I was drumming, and my teacher was like, hey, you have to hold the sticks like this with your thumbs up. Plus, you have to have your foot on the pedal with your toe slightly pointed up. Plus, you need to read the sheet music. Plus, you need to remember everything that's going on with the drum kit and what the names are of everything and what song you're playing. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like an overload. But it's exactly how clients feel when they first come into the gym. When
100%.
you say, right, we're doing a dumbbell bench press that you've never done before. You have to work on the tempo. You have to count in your head. You have to work on your breathing. You have to remember every cue and what exercise you're doing. It's super overwhelming. So I think when you're first starting out, I think just thinking about controlling the movement before you get into counting the eccentric and concentric part of the movement is a great way to go about it.
Yeah.
When we begin to add progressive overload into the mix, I think a lot of people, including myself and yourself and clients, sometimes the tempo can start to go out of the window and we sacrifice tempo and control in order to progressive overload.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't know, and I didn't know for a long time, that progressive overload is not only upping your weight, it's getting better reps, it's perfecting your tempo, it's activating the right muscles better. So I think I just recently switched one of my clients he's very, very new to the gym. So I've just switched him from a Smith machine bench press straight to dumbbell bench press. So I've skipped the barbell, just because I really like a dumbbell chest press. I like the range that you can get, and it teaches stability in your shoulders. I think just beyond the movement. So first couple of sets of that were very difficult for him, even on a lower weight by many other people's standards. The biggest thing for him was controlling and trying to understand the cues and how to think through it and the pathing of the weights. And he's trying to control the weights, and he was like bringing them out and then down, and he was really thinking about that, but then he's not breathing properly and all that type of stuff. So like you said, you just need to try and reduce it, relegate it, and just go step by step. And if starting with controlling the movement works best, then that's where to start.
Yeah, 100%. And when you are overloading and, maybe your tempo and your form and your breathing starts to go out of the window, what do you see as, a practitioner in terms of, injury-wise, the complications that can come along with that?
Oh, 100%. And it doesn't happen, oftentimes it doesn't happen in a split second with one bad rep. It's a lot of the time it's going to be that over time, compressing the shoulder space is such a big one. There's so much that goes through your shoulder girdle, the shoulder socket, all that type of stuff in terms of nerves and ligaments, tendons, obviously, because it's a joint. And over time, you can make them really grumpy. You can cause things like bursitis, which sucks. And it can get worse and worse. And you can have specific instances where you do have maybe an overload over a long time on that shoulder joint or whichever, and you have that one rep where it's just really poor and everything goes out the window, and then something even worse happens. and that just keeps you out of the gym as well. So it's so important to leave your ego at the door when you walk into the gym, specifically with, for instance, we'll stick on the chest press, specifically with movements like that, where you're not just using your chest, you're stabilizing throughout your shoulders, and you're probably using your core a little bit.
Yeah.
When those compound movements come more into it. So definitely have to be careful with that.
What I see when clients come in and maybe their form, their tempo, and their breathing's a little bit off, and I adjust their form and I correct their tempo and their breathing. Initially, what happens is they have a regression with
Feels
the weight.
harder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They can't lift as much as what they're doing with poor form.
100%.
And I say to them, look, you're going to have to take a little step back right now in order to take 2 steps forward later down the track.
The old bow and arrow, mate.
Absolutely. And long behold, they do the exercise with the new form, the tempo and the breathing, and they feel it more in the target muscle.
Yeah.
Say, for an example, dumbbell bench press, like we say on the topic there, typically what we see a lot is elbows flared out, and they're pressing a lot with their anterior delts. Now, when we look at their anterior delts, it's a very small muscle. It's like a little chicken tender in comparison to your chest,
to your pecs,
which is a full chicken. So, what we get clients to do is thinking about tucking the elbows in a little bit more, still using your anterior delts, but prioritizing the stretch on the chest and the triceps in order to push more load. And in the long term, instead of just overloading their anterior delts, they're actually using the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps synergistically together to get that weight up.
Yeah, I think another thing that I try to cue for people that a lot of my clients have, I guess, warmed up to is directing the weights can be a really difficult thing, especially if it is one that is not supported like a Smith machine or, machine leg press, whatever it is about directing or changing the angle of your weights and just sort of letting them go to where they're supposed to go and just positioning yourself right, turning out whatever you need to do, and then just letting it go down rather than trying so much to have this perfect, thinking about all these different things. Let's just think about that one thing.
Yep.
So I think people have that's worked really well for some clients. Different cues are going to work for different people.
Yeah, definitely. And machines are awesome.
Yeah.
Like machines mimic what the compound lift is about to do.
Yeah.
So say for a hack squat, for an example, it's a very safe movement. You're on a 45 degree and it mimics a squatting pattern as you would do on an upright barbell back squat.
Yeah.
But getting a client that's never lifted before to put a 20 kilo bar on their back to squat, that might not go down too well.
No.
So starting them on a 45 degree hack squat with, a carriage, that could be, a good option with a reverse band or something like that.
Yep.
So, if you or, a friend is looking to get into the gym and they're, a little bit scared about those big compound lifts, then chuck them on some machines and get a feel for the movement first, and then they can mimic that movement on the compound lift later down the track.
And it's still, you can't get in a hack squat and not brace your core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It still teaches you those basic fundamentals. And I've been lifting consistently and properly for 2 years or so. I'm still in the hack squat.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm not I'm cool with barbell back squats. Like if I don't want to do them, I'm not going to do them. And if my clients don't want to do a barbell back squat, then I'm not going to program that for them because they're not going to stick to it. They're going to dread it. And they might fuck themselves up because they're nervous and they're thinking about 50 trillion things. And, oh, look, there's a car that drove past. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that, there are so many great machines. Like Smith machine is another. You can also progress from hack squat to a Smith machine squat to a back squat. It puts you in a bit more of that upright position, gets you thinking about a couple of more things, but you can't really fuck yourself up as bad if you do let it all go.
Agreed. Something that I've fallen into the trap of in my own training is actually training too slow with the tempo, which I know we've been speaking about. You must control the eccentric and the concentric and go through, the full range of motion of the movement and breathe. And that is incredibly important. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was in the midst of my bodybuilding time. And I was, having a read up of some, it might not be completely evidence based, but it was just sort of like what was going on at the moment with, trends in the fitness industry. And a lot of it was lifting with lower weight, moderate reps, but just going super slow, like really, really slow negatives. And, I tried it for a period of time, and long behold, you pull up really sore. So the immediate thought was, oh, well, this has to be working more because I'm pulling up really sore. But it was just a different stimulus.
Yeah.
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 And if we fast forward, to now, well, there is research out there to prove that the speed of the lift isn't as important as we once thought in terms of super slow or super fast movements. It lies somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
There's merit to both, but I think we have to control to an extent.
Yeah.
But we can't focus on doing like a 10-second eccentric on a hack squat because you're not going to be able to progress.
By the bottom.
Yeah. You're going to be out of breath. You can't hold your breath for that long.
No.
But it's going to be extremely hard to progressively overload with very, very slow tempo.
Right.
That's what I was sort of getting to. So I'm in the mentality of, an eccentric movement, depending on, the movement itself, anywhere from 2 to 3 seconds,
Yeah.
As a general rule of thumb. For those starting out lifting, just control it. That's probably all you need to think about, not too controlled, but just somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be too objective at the start. It's all about getting those basics down and just getting your rhythm in the gym. And I think it's really hard for people that have never been in the gym, but it's especially hard for people who have been in the gym for them to change the way they train. I've seen a couple of clients around the place that have clearly trained before and they have a PT now and they're not adapting. It's just like terrible form, terrible tempo, because that's how they're used to training. So taking a step back is really, really difficult to do. So trying your best to leave your ego at the door will help with everything.
Ben, I know your Instagram page will be full of this based on the people that you follow, but
yeah,
how's the amount of high protein recipes on social media right now?
That's all I have.
I don't even follow these people, but somehow it's all over my social media as well. Every single meal packed with protein.
Yeah, sometimes I want some carb.
Right? Yeah. It's getting pretty ridiculous. And, I'm all for hacks for getting your protein intake up. But there's a shortage of cottage cheese and high protein yogurt because of these recipes on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I know. Oh, man, the amount of times the cottage cheese has gone out of stock. You reminded me of that. I actually don't buy it anymore. I gave up on buying it. It was always out.
That's why. That's why there's a shortage, which is insane. But I wanted to bring up like the fact that not every meal has to contain protein. Like you've got your protein goal, which should be 1.4 to 2.2 times your body weight in kilos.
Yep.
No less, but you also don't need to go any more. And if you do go more, then those proteins will get synthesized as carbohydrates anyway.
Right.
So if you're already hitting your protein intake and you're looking online to find even more high protein recipes, you don't need to. Just have some carbs or have some fats.
Going to be pooping a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Carbs and fats are important too. And for me, this is something I've only, I guess, recently learnt, to be fair, in the past couple of months, is before training, I hate having high protein. I just want carbs, especially now that I've started running. But even before that, I want literally an apple. I can survive a workout with an apple half an hour before, or a banana or whatever, depending on what time you train. But I'm not having high protein heavy meal before I'm working legs an hour before my session, 30 minutes before my session. No chance.
What's our main fuel source when we're at resistance training?
Carbs, buddy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it. Not protein, not fats,
No.
carbs, carbohydrates. We need them. So
Yeah.
I think there should be more recipes that are high carb.
Yeah. Legit, man. When I try and look up snacks, I'm just like post-dinner snack, yummy snack, like healthy snack. It's all just like have these like protein, apricot, banana, friggin' protein powder bowls. I'm like, no. I just want something tasty.
Yeah.
Because you can have a bit of, just honey and crunched up rice cakes and make your own little rice bubble thingo and just be pure carb. And it doesn't have to have protein, which makes it taste shite.
Yep.
Like cottage cheese in my pancakes. Like, piss off.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make a pancake.
100%. That's it. And you can get your protein later in the day. Like there's times where I have breakfast and it doesn't have over 5-10 grams of protein in it.
Yeah.
And that's okay because I know that I'm going to have a fat steak later in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So unless you're an elite athlete or you're a bodybuilder, protein timing doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it's hard for people that get into the gym at the start. They get their meal plan and each meal has this amount of protein.
Yep.
Like, oh shit, if I don't have this protein at breakfast, I can't have it at lunch.
Yeah.
That's my window to have my protein. Nah. Go for high carb if you can get through it. I never eat a massive breakfast. I actually struggle a little bit to eat in the morning. Don't struggle at lunch or dinner. Definitely not dinner. But yeah, my breakfasts at the moment are very high in carb and low, honestly quite low in fat and relatively low in protein.
Yep. Well, with the trends of the fitness industry right now, like, with high rocks and running, hybrid training, more and more people should be looking at high carbohydrate
High carb
diets.
diets.
Yeah, for sure. Moderate protein. Because like you said, like you don't have a high protein meal before you train because that's going to be slower digesting, right? So you're going to feel full, but that's not exactly what you want when you're going to do an 180 kilo hack squat,
Yeah.
That's not what you want. You want to feel good.
No.
And, carbohydrates, especially fast acting, easy to digest carbohydrates like, dried fruit or fruit, rice cakes and honey, all that good stuff.
Just chug some honey.
Just chug some honey, not with that hand movement. If for those
You go
watching,
2 honeys if you wanted.
you could if you really wanted to. You must really be craving some honey.
Yeah, oh, big time. Honey and everything. Like sometimes I don't want meat for breakfast. Like I don't want chicken and veg for breakfast. I don't want 250 grams of cottage cheese on my toast because it tastes like shit. I just want, and a lot of people, I have a client that I help out with their meals. And they just don't like eggs. Like they react bad to eggs and don't like cottage cheese and not a huge fan of yogurt. And I'm like, that's so fine. You don't have to have any of those in your diet if you don't want to have it. Like, again, I'm going to keep harping on about sustainability and like making sure that your client can eat what you're outlaying in their meal plan. And they'll have a little bit of avocado because they like it. Cool.
Yep.
Avocado's great.
Yep.
Like if you feel okay before a workout and you've had avocado and you've had a bit of a higher fat, cool. Subjective is very important. Like if you feel good, then you train good. You know what I mean? So they'll have a bit of avo or like Vegemite toast. Sweet. At least you ate some brekkie.
Yep.
Let's get into the high protein, high calorie meals later on in the day. Like sometimes breakfast and lunch might be quite low in calorie because they don't have time to eat a big meal. And then dinner's just this, huge thing. And then they've got maybe a nice big snack after that. And by the end of the day, they've hit their protein, they've hit their fats, carbs, water, everything.
Yeah. And if you fall short of your protein goals at the end of the day, you can just have a scoop of protein powder. Like I feel like we've moved so far away from protein powder.
Yeah.
It's so convenient.
It's the devil.
Yeah.
It's a superfood.
Well,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Synthetic superfood.
Well, it's just protein powder it's not a food supplement. It is food. That's what it is. Like, and that's what people forget about protein powder, right? They think, oh, well, it's just a supplement, I want to be sticking to whole foods. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But also protein powder is so convenient. And if you fall short, how easy is it to grab out the bag, chuck a scoop in with some milk, and there's 35 grams of protein.
Done.
So easy. Bang. If you're even shorter, put in a scoop and a half, put in 2 scoops. Easy.
Yeah. Done. Sometimes, you know what I did or used to do? Used to make a protein shake and use it as like for my cereal.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
In a bit of milk, probably not water.
Yeah, you can do that, and I've done that before. Something that I saw on Instagram today, actually, someone got a scoop of protein powder and they put a Coke no sugar in and mixed it up.
Bro, my mate sent me a video of him doing this. Yeah,
and
apparently it's cracker.
It tastes just like a spider, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, bullshit.
Tonight we are on. Just we're sitting here saying, don't have all these high protein recipes. Then I'm going to go home and try this.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I think moral of the story is by the end of the day, try your best to hit as close to all the targets. You've said before that you've had your clients do Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
They don't eat during the day at all. They just drink water.
Yep.
Get to the end of the day and they have to have 3 meals worth.
Yeah.
To be in the gym.
Yep.
So they don't have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They just have food.
Yeah.
At like whenever the sun goes down.
Yeah. I remember my client had this. We created this meal and it was like salmon, beef, chicken, rice, potatoes, vegetables, and eggs. It was like the
2,500 calories.
It was like I think it was 1,800 calories. But he was just like, "Oh, I love it. It's great." And I was like, you know what? If you can do that,
probably hammered it down to
perfect.
Yeah.
Meal timing's not as important as we think.
No.
It definitely helps to spread out your meals for hunger and muscle protein synthesis if you were an athlete or a bodybuilder, but for the general population, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about, what's a fad and what was going to stick around a little bit later in this podcast. But I think that it's going to swing the other way now to where we start to just eat normal things again. Like we're not going to have, like I said, a cottage cheese pancake. Yeah. Don't be afraid of just making a pancake. Just adjust the level of sugar, or if you use butter in it, just adjust those levels and have a tasty pancake that you can have every morning and not buy ridiculous amounts of cottage cheese.
For sure. Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. So we're just getting back to the simple things, to normal food. And
yeah, for sure. Instead of using, the sugar-free maple syrup, use the normal maple syrup, stuff like that.
Just don't fucking use half the bottle, mate.
Yeah. And obviously this comes down to like if you have the calories available. Like someone who's listening to this podcast might be like, well, this is great, but I'm
literally
on fucking
can't
1,200
fit 50
calories
in. Yeah.
So not good for me. But if you are like not dieting and you're at maintenance or a build phase, then, it's probably in your best interest to get rid of those lower calorie, high protein options. Start prioritizing the less processed whole food options.
Yeah. Your tummy will thank you. I think another thing with adding protein to every meal and finding all these different fun ways to add protein, like these soy crisps that cost $20 a bag, is the cost of some of these things, especially when they're at a higher demand. So I think that a big struggle for a lot of people, and for me, every now and then it can feel like it's expensive because people, when we meal prep, it's always a bit of a bulk buy type of thing, and obviously nothing's getting cheaper at the moment. So, yeah, I think the cost of eating healthy is a barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we get that a lot with, our own inquiries for PT and the gym as well. Money's tight. We're filming this podcast in June 2026 and things are very expensive.
Very.
Everything's inflated at the minute. But I think a thing that you need to crunch the numbers is like where you are spending your money. Like what is the actual cost of living a healthy lifestyle versus not living a healthy lifestyle, probably living more of an unhealthy lifestyle. I've spoken about in the podcast before, like I used to work in nightclubs and pubs and was an event photographer for many years. And I didn't have the best eating, sleeping habits. And I used to go out quite a bit in my early 20s. And I found it quite easy to spend, $300, $400, $500 per night just going out to town.
Yeah.
Which, at the time you just go, oh, whatever. How much does a gym membership cost? How much does a coach cost? And how much does a food shop cost these days? I can guarantee it's going to be under $500. And that's talking, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So the inflated price of that would be astronomical.
Yeah.
And you gotta think about, like, if I don't live this healthy lifestyle, if I think about it in a way of, well, the gym's too expensive and the coach is too expensive and it's too expensive to eat healthy, that is going to come back and bite you in the ass. Like, the health implications that are going to catch up with you later down the track is going to cost you so much more than just doing something now.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's ways to stretch food out as well. A lot of food videos, funnily enough, that I see on the internet where people are putting different parts of a meal together and they'll say, like, lettuce 21 cents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Apple 5 cents, is because people can spread the cost. And that's why batch cooking is just over 5 days, the big bulk buy that you did doesn't seem so bad anymore. Whereas, I think for 5 days I could feed myself for the amount of feeding me and my partner for one night getting Uber Eats.
Yeah. How much does it cost to get Uber Eats for you and your partner?
It's fucked. Probably $80.
$80. Yep.
Like $60 to $80 is pretty common.
Yeah. And that's one meal. So, and how much would it cost you to meal prep your lunch and your dinner for the week? Probably
for both of us, it's legit $150, I reckon.
For your entire shop.
$150 to $200.
Yep.
For a week.
For an entire shop.
Fruit, veg, all that type of stuff. Yeah, everything.
It's huge. So if you just talk about, like, just lunch and dinner, then you're probably talking around $80 anyway. So for one meal that you spend, you get an entire week worth of prep meals, which is pretty insane. I always think about it like, you look at a meal and you go, well, it's $15 for a chicken and rice from our local Vietnamese place, which is perfect.
So good.
So good. And, I'm all for treating yourself. But I also look at that and go, like, I could get 1.5 kilos of chicken breast for that. And that would last me the entire week.
Yeah.
And rice doesn't cost much.
Nah, rice you can freaking spread out. Stop buying packaged rice. I just recently stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm already feeling the effects of doing that. We're still on the same rice
Yeah.
from like 2 weeks ago.
Totally. Well, be careful with that because, rice can give you food poisoning as well. So I wouldn't keep it over a week.
Oh, do you mean cooked?
Cooked
no,
rice.
No. Not cooked rice. You dickhead.
Yeah. No, don't.
A bag of rice.
Yeah, we have those pot rices at home and it's just for pure convenience if, like, cannot be asked. But we're starting to move away from that because of the whole plastic things and, like, there's research developing around, like, microwaving and heating up plastics.
Yeah, and you've got kids.
You've got kids,
which makes it different. Yeah.
We got to be careful with that stuff, I think, reducing the amount of plastic that we use.
Mm. Yeah, so there's definitely ways, and it does feel like a big hit at the time, and there are things that are rising in price, like, beef mince is a big one, especially if it's grass-fed. Like, there's this brand, I can't remember the name, but they've just gone up from $15 to about $20 per 500 grams for beef mince, so fair enough. That can feel like a hit, because it looks like such a small amount of food, but it's still, compared to buying your food every day, it will make a difference. And even if it's $50 difference in a week, you're like, oh, what's the point? Try that over 52 weeks. Like, that's a trip to Europe. That's a house deposit potentially.
Oh yeah, where are you buying a house?
I can't, or a big portion
I know.
towards a house deposit. I'm buying a house in, I don't even know,
Keith.
Kangaroo Island. Keith. Yeah, anyway, you sort of get my point. It's just like, it is cheaper over the long run.
Yeah,
If you do it right.
for sure. Do you know what else is going up in price? Health insurance. Yeah.
Good point.
And guess what? If you've got a health condition because you haven't exercised and looked after your body, your health insurance is going to go up even more.
Yeah.
So it's in your best interest to just look after yourself.
Yeah.
Eat healthy, train well, get your steps in, and that will pay off in the long term. You've got one body, you've got one car for the rest of your life, right?
Well said.
Look after it.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, you're going to have to go through our episodes. Have a
Episode
listen.
27.
I reckon it was.
reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, 28 or 27. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cardiologists aren't going down in price anytime soon either. They love their money.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if you play sports, this is a big one. I am a sport player avidly, and for the period of time in my, I'd say mid-20s, when I wasn't training, I was getting injured all the flipping time. Ever since I've been back in the gym, to be fair, I've had one pretty nasty wrist injury, but that actually happened before I started working out, so we won't count that. Not that squats would have helped me save myself there, but training has changed my performance massively on the pitch, and with my recovery, with my eating, and injuries have just not been a thing for me in the past 2 years, and I am known as the injury guy.
Yeah.
And I've not missed a game through a serious injury in the past 2 years. It's either been illness or I've been away. And going to the physio and going to a sports doctor and maybe going to OT, fuck, that shit adds up.
Definitely.
Big time. So you can do it. Sammy, I want to talk about some fitness trends. We're going to call this segment Fad or Forever.
Love it.
It's a title I got really excited about. And ChatGPT didn't come up with it, believe it or not. So we're going to talk about some fitness trends, more so active fitness and like nutrition trends, recovery trends that are very relevant now and very popular, and you see it all over your For You page. What we think is going to last, or if we think it's going to last, and if it won't, or if we don't think it will, what's a better alternative? Or is there no alternative?
Yep.
Cool?
Done.
First one on the list is cold plunge obsession and overcomplicated, unsustainable recovery techniques.
Yeah. Look, I'm a big fan of ice baths. I love an ice bath.
For recovery?
I love it for the mental resilience. Yeah. Not a big fan for recovery, and I do think that it is a fad. I think even we've seen a downwards trend even in the past couple of years from having ice baths. I had one at home, before we opened the gym, and, got to the point where I was like, well, it's coming into winter. I'm not using it as much. I'm just going to do some cold showers instead. And I still get the benefits of the mental resilience. So I think the barrier to entry to like have one at home, they're expensive, or to have a gym membership with one, there's the barrier to entry, and it's tough. It's really hard to psych yourself up to do it. I think they're always going to be around. I don't think they're going to die
100%.
off completely. I think they're going to die off in the sense of treating recovery with ice baths, but I think they're going to stick around for all of those entrepreneurs and higher performers for their mental resilience routine.
Yeah, a bit of clarity.
Yep.
And I think, it'll definitely die away for Gen Pop, like that whole rise in cold plunge and ice bath, that daily cold plunge for recovery.
Yep.
Daily cold plunge for mental stuff, great.
Awesome.
Go for it. But I think if, high-level athletes, your football, soccer, all that type of stuff, they're always going to do it, and that's good for them. Post-training, post-game, for 5 to 10 minutes, great. That's really good for recovery, if it's just to slow down a bit of inflammation, if there is any, or if anyone's carrying an injury. But if you gen pop and you're doing it because you had legs 2 days ago, it's not going to do shit all for you.
Yep.
So fad.
Yep.
In that sense. Another one. Over the top biohacking and supplement stacks and
Yep.
gadgets.
What watch are you wearing there, mate?
I got an Apple Watch SE.
Nice.
What do you got?
Seiko automatic watch.
Rolex Submariner.
Soon. But yeah, I used to wear an Apple Watch and alternatives like Fitbits and that in the past on my journey. I guess pretty much when I finished my bodybuilding prep in 2020, my last one that I did, I pretty much just took it off and I never put it back on. For me, having the notifications and all of the data there kind of made me, it was more bad than good. Like it gave me more anxiety around, I had a bad sleep last night, therefore I should feel like shit, or, recoverability is not good. So therefore you're going to feel like shit today and you end up feeling like shit.
Yeah.
So I think all this data that we have, I think it's good and I think we should use it in moderation. But I think having too much accessible on our wrists and on our rings and on our phones can be data overload. So we need to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Realistically, for my clients, I say wear something that can track your steps.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm actually not even looking at the calories burnt on your workouts because it's irrelevant. Like you're taking your heart rate from your wrist. Your heart's here. That's irrelevant. If you get a heart rate tracker, the strap that goes around, the Garmin ones, they're way more accurate.
Yeah.
In the 90%.
Yeah.
On your wrist, 60, 70% accurate.
Yeah. And if you're wearing it loosely on your wrist, it's not going to feel your pulse.
No.
Or anything like that. And I think I wear mine for the time and for steps.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. If I didn't track steps, I'd wear a normal watch or I wouldn't wear one at all. I feel like I'd feel naked now.
Yeah.
If I didn't wear a watch. So if that's an excuse to buy an AP, then I'll do it.
Well, I've seen these things you can actually slip under your watch and it's Bluetooth and it counts your steps. So you can actually slip it under your normal watch. So they're a bit thick at the moment, but I think with some more technology, I think they're going to be
actually a thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think with some more technology, getting them thinner, then you'll be able to slip it
Count
under.
your steps manually.
Yeah. Get the old, I don't know if this was your era, but I remember getting a pedometer in a cereal box when they used to do all the toys in the cereal boxes.
Yeah, right.
And, clip it on.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Clip it onto your pants.
Yeah, that was before
take
my
it to
time.
school. There used to be some really cool toys
Yeah,
in cereal
right.
boxes.
No, I had a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I think, you're totally right. Like HRV is important. Resting heart rate's important. Your sleep and all that is really important. But, I know someone close to me who has a Whoop. Whoop's is a huge one. Doesn't tell you the fucking time. That is where I draw the line with a wrist wearable. I want to know the time. And you can't really track anything until you have your phone on you. It tracks your sleep, if you hit REM, how your recovery went. And I feel like if you have a good day, data-wise and objectively, you feel great. But if you have a shit day and you feel good, if you feel good and you're like, oh, I'm just going to check because I feel good, so my results are going to be good, right? And then you look and you're like, oh, my sleep score is 47. Now I feel shit.
Yep.
Now my day's over and the cortisol goes up, catabolic cortisol. So it can be really dangerous. And you mentioned something earlier which was really clever, was getting on the scales when you feel good.
Yeah. Yep.
If you feel good and you feel light and you don't need to get on the scales that day, avoid it.
Don't do it.
Just in case you gain 300 grams of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll mess with your mind. And then you see that number on the scales and it's not what you want to see. The rest of the day's written off because puts you in a bad mindset. And it can be the exact same thing with all the biohacking feedback as well.
Yeah. So wearables and obsessively tracking your data, big old fad. Sam and I are massive fans of the subjective, how you feel, as we've mentioned. So if you feel good, you are good.
Yep.
Feel good, train good, feel good, work good. Just have a good day. Just sit in that. Enjoy that.
Yep.
Don't feel good and be like, all right, time to see if I really am good. You're good.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. This is a good one. Number 3 is hybrid everything classes. So we've put down here Pilates with boxing, with HIIT and mashing up and doing all those different things, or Pilates by itself or boxing by itself. A lot of it, I think, has to do with your why as well, why you're doing things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of these, like all your Pilates and your boxing, your high rocks, is like they're always going to be around.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a niche of clients that go to that gym and do that for a period of time. I feel like the turnover rate is, sometimes can be quite rapid, and most of the time we end up finding them at a commercial gym doing strength training, because like they realize, what I wanted to achieve, I wanted to just be skinny. They didn't actually want that. I actually wanted to be toned and actually put on some lean muscle and strong. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like they are a bit of a fad at the minute, like the
100%.
the HIIT based classes, like that do like a bit of a mashup. And I get it from a business owner perspective. You need to find what that next trend is. What is it? But like putting it all into one can sort of, I guess blur the lines on what you're actually trying to do. If you are a Pilates, boxing, and HIIT gym, just choose one. What are you? Are you really good at boxing? Then just do the boxing and become really good at that and known for boxing. It's like here at Form First, we are known for strength training, and that's what we lean into. We've got bugger all cardio here because we believe in strength training, and that is what is best long term for us and our clients. That's what we preach.
I think that's where people end up anyway, man. Like, you go to HIIT classes and maybe it does last you 2 years or 3 years, and you've done your 1,000th class, and that's great, and that shows great resilience and great effort and mental effort and physical effort. But it just gets to a point where you're just like, this is just too much. It's so overwhelming. I'm absolutely freaking wrecked at the end of every session because somebody else is directing my session. Yeah. And they're pushing me to my flipping limits, And a lot of clients that I've had in massage and in PT have said, I used to do BFT or I used to do F45, but it was just too hectic. And now I'm 40 something years old or whatever. And none of that stuff has actually taught me how to balance properly or taught me anything functional. It's just a lot of it can be quite crazy. Yeah. So I feel like we all end up in the gym at one point or another. Even calisthenics. Like calisthenics is great fun. You get to work out outdoors. It's super achievable. But, how do you progress? You can't go outdoors all the time. You simply can't. You just end up, you're like, no, I want to push some weight. It's nice to see a bit of extra weight go on your bar. Yeah. That's sort of where I go with it. But I think, earlier I was just saying it's about your why. Like if you're getting into Pilates because it's cool, because, you want to be the Pilates girl or the Pilates guy or whatever, because it's super popular, and you're just getting into it purely for that, and you go in and realize how fucking challenging that is, it's not going to last. If you're in it for balance or for stability or anything like that or anything long term, it's going to last. It's the same with boxing. It's the same with hybrid training. If your why is correct, it will last. If you're in it because it's cool and trendy, it's a fad. Yep. So they're all fads. Fad.
I've got one for you.
Thank you.
Influencer programs. So I'm talking said influencer blows up on social media, maybe not a qualified personal trainer, sells a program that they do themselves, preaching that they'll get the body that they have because this is the program that they do and sell it out to the masses. There's no personalization. There's no check-in. There's no accountability. It's just, here's a PDF, follow my plan, or on an app, follow my plan. And, if they sell that out to 10,000 people, there might be 1% that is suitable for.
Yeah.
There might actually be 100 people that get great results from that. But the vast majority are probably going to get it and they're going to be like, not for me.
Nowadays, a lot of those coaches may or may not be natural and not present it that way. And they also might utilize old mate Chat GPT for their programs.
Yes.
Because they don't know how to program anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even there's no effort into that stuff. There's no age range to it. It's just the same program.
Yep.
I feel like people do it with food.
Big time.
Meal plans.
Yeah.
And just claim that they have a diploma because no one's going to check them on it.
Yeah. Well, more people are doing it and calling them out in the whole call out culture that we've got going on at the moment. So, yeah, I feel like the whole PDF style training program meal plan sort of thing is starting to fade out now. And I think that's just from the uprise of how many coaches there are in the industry at the moment, which I think is fantastic. So, yeah, it's been a real shift away. I think, again, they're always going to be there, but the coaches out there have definitely softened the blow of the amount that's out there.
100%. Definitely. Got another one for me?
Yeah. One that's been pretty popular over the past couple of years, which is like just the extreme challenges. Like I'm talking 75 hard. You think about sustainability, it's like the furthest thing away from sustainability possible. Yeah. It's literally called 75 hard, and it's 75 days of torture, basically.
Yeah. What is it? 2 workouts a day?
Yeah, 2 workouts a day. You have to drink like 5 liters of water. You have to read
what? 5 liters of water?
Yeah, you have to read so many non-fiction books.
Right.
You have to follow a specific diet.
Books are in it.
Yeah.
And they're breeding camels for 5 liters of water a day. Nice.
Look, there's some things that you can take out of it, but you've got Darren, dad of 2, who works a corporate job. Like you go, how on earth is he going to complete that? And then if everyone else is doing it, and Darren goes, well, I can't do that, so I'm a failure. Like, mate, you don't need to do that. Like, you can train 3 days a week and, eat healthy and just read 1 book a month, and just take it on the sustainable approach. Like, if you're doing 75 hard and you're sitting there and you ask yourself this question, can I sustain this forever? And if the answer is no, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
I get
100%.
I get the mental resilience of doing something hard for a short period of time, but most people, when they finish
that's not a short period of time.
Yeah,
though. I know what you mean. Yeah.
If someone finishes 75 hard, most of the time they'd go, I'm so exhausted that I'm not going to go to the gym for the next 75 days.
Yeah. Can I do 75 easy?
Yeah.
75 hard or 365 sustainable? What do you reckon? 365, right. 247.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know what I'm picking. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, 100%. Well said.
Yeah.
75, fuck off.
Like I've sort of done this from my bodybuilding prep anyway. Like I've done 75 hard in that aspect.
Without the books.
But I had a reason why I was jumping up on stage. Like, what's the end goal of 75 hard? What is it?
Yeah.
You got to think about it in that way. If it is to achieve some sort of physique goal, then you're approaching it in the wrong way.
Cool. I think a good one to end on, something that's, been around quite a lot. I think we have Joe Rogan to thank for one of them, is the hyper restrictive diets. A big one is the carnivore diet, to why I mentioned Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Yeah. I love him, but it's a crazy idea.
Yeah. Carnivore, keto, juice cleanses,
all
of these.
Bloody hell.
all of these diets, it comes back to the sustainability. Can you do this for a long period of time? If yes, then great, keep doing it. If no, then you have to reevaluate your dieting choice. Like you have to do what you can sustain long term. Otherwise, there's no point doing it.
Yeah, there's no point doing it of your own volition.
Yep.
If you have had blood work done and you're seeing a dietitian and they somehow, some way suggest that you only eat elk meat for breakfast, lunch and dinner, then there's some credit to that.
Mm-hmm.
But of your own volition, if you're just like keen to try it out, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it because you think it's going to help you in some sort of way, you probably haven't done enough research outside of the thing that you've just spent the past 30 minutes researching. If you research, why do I need carbs? Why shouldn't I have a carnivore diet rather than why should I? Then you'd probably be swung the other way like that. I'd say if you just frame your question a little bit different, it'll scare you away from doing paleo or whatever it might be.
Yep. Episode 30, Ben.
Let's go.
Nice work. 20 off goal of 50 for the year. So let's keep cruising.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.